conclude now, and we have to go for the DC machines as well. So DC machines is also very important. So these are some of the portions that are left. Like for 8 marks, it has come. What are the steps involved in design of field windings of a synchronous machine? So essentially, we know that the field windings of the synchronous machine are placed over the rotor, on the rotor, because a synchronous machine is a doubly fed machine, unlike induction machine wherein we have only singly fed. To the stator side only we are giving supply, but in case of a synchronous machine, what we do is that we have a prime mover, and we have a field excitation system. Now as far as a generator is concerned, so that this prime mover in the power plant, this prime mover is moved by mechanical energy. It can be steam, it can be hydroelectric energy, it can be nuclear energy, it can be any energy to rotate the prime mover. And when the prime mover is rotating, so basically what in the very beginning you excite your field winding by a separate DC supply, such that it gets some excitation and your field winding starts to rotate. And when the field winding torque somehow is catching up to the prime mover torque, it locks up. Once it is locked up, then we this excitation we turn off, and the machine is now running as a synchronous machine, and it is running at one particular frequency and one particular speed. That is the synchronous speed, that will be given by 2 f by p in case of RPS and 120 f by p in case of your rotations per minute. So basically, as you can see, the step number one here would be the generally the exciter voltage, that is the excitation is in the range of 110 volts to 440 volts. So this is the system. So 15 to 20% of voltage is kept as drop across the field controller. So this is initially when we are trying to give. So this is the range which we are maintaining. So 15 to 20% is kept as a drop. So 15 to 20% minus of 100 would be 80 to 85. So the voltage per coil would be 80 to 85%. So exciter voltage divided by the number of field coil. So let's assume, suppose we are assuming like we have to assume what is the value of the depth of the field coil, and a suitable depth is assumed for the field coil, and the mean length of turn in field coil is estimated, this LMT, which we have already described earlier also, from the dimensions of the pole and depth of the field windings. So dimensions of the pole are, see, this is like rectangle. If you will have the surface area of a rectangle, so it would be two times your length and breadth. See, as far as the this circle was concerned, circle circumference, usually we are giving 2 pi r or pi d, but now the field winding, you can see it has a rectangular cross section on the top, and on the face of it is circular in nature. In the very beginning, if you see my previous lectures, there we have discussed the type of winding and the type of arrangement. So this arrangement is 2 into length plus breadth comes from the rectangular cross section, and this is the circular cross section. So total length is what total circumference of that thing, where t is the thickness of the insulation of the pole. So this is how the mean length is calculated. Apart from that, the sectional area, the cross sectional area can be calculated from the formula. This, the resistance RF is what, rho L by A. Okay, so this is given by rho into L by A. So but here, instead of rho L by A, he is doing one thing, rho into, this is L, this is length of mean turn, into TF. Why is giving TF? TF is the number of turns. So there will not be one turn, there would be many turns. In every turn there would be a mean length. A field winding has a length of one turn, has suppose 10 centimeter, one turn is having 10 centimeter. So there are 100 turns. So you have to account for all the 100 turns, how many centimeters. In 100 turns there would be 10 into 100,000 centimeters of length will be accommodated. So this is L only. So rho L into TF divided by AF is rating A, that is the area. So that is your voltage across the coil divided by the field coil. See, if you want the resistance now, the resistance can be expressed also voltage across the coil divided by your current. So that is again you have voltage, you have this resistance already. This resistance, if you are having VC divided by IF, so you get around this formula from here. So this remains TF by AF remains, and additionally one thing which here you are saving is your IF. So here you are seeing VC divided by IF. So if you are dividing VC IF here, so you have to multiply here IF. Then once you are dividing by IF, so only this term will come. That is your resistance. So area in terms of that, you can area if you have to express in terms of your current, you can express rho L and T IF TF divided by VC from this particular formula. So this is how roughly your field winding dimensions are there, and same that basic formula of current density. Current density is your I by A. So your current is equal to your delta into AF. So field current can be estimated by assuming a suitable value of current density in the field winding. So generally, the value of current density in the field winding, which we are considering, is generally is taken to be around 3.4 to 4 amperes. So here you see repeated terms. So this is some an ordinary text, an examine scanner type of thing, from where I took these two questions I took, because these questions have come previously. So instead of like writing it down, and my handwriting is not looking that good, so I thought, okay, I will take the text only. But here you see so many mistakes are there. But anyways, you can understand in a much better way. So avoid these typing mistakes they have done. So no need to mug this up. Only the thing is essential concepts we have to take. So more or less they expect you in a VTU to write like this, I think. So stepwise. So see, this is for 8 marks. So they don't want story writing type. So I picked up this to get you a knack of writing in an examination. So an examination is a different scenario, because soon we are approaching an examination. Some of you had asked me to provide this scanner and all that thing. Okay, we will provide you, but only depending upon this and going into the examination. See, many a times question paper comes conceptual also. So at that time you cannot rely on these things. This, because yes, it was not there in the this thing properly in this order, so I took this. Similarly, the number of turns in the field winding, if you can see, same like in transformer we have done AT into F divided by IF, and your height of the field winding would be given as your AT into F in 10 power minus 4, and resistance already you have calculated. Your height of the field winding would depend upon what height. How do you calculate? Huh? Height would be, see, if your area is length into breadth, or your area is height into for example breadth, or height into length, so that area you consider. See, here he has given it in terms of area, in terms of number of turns in the field winding. So full load field ampere turns. So full load ampere field ampere turns in 10 power minus 4, 10 power minus 4 divided by SF, DF, and QF. So these terms SF, DF, and QF, you have to take into account. What are these terms? That SF, you see, if it is given, your rectangular cross section is there. So here there is some mistake. Okay, here, that's what I wanted to tell you. Somebody was asking me other day, sir, please send us the scanner. Now, if I send you the scanner, uh, here it is showing height HF is equal to ATFL in 10 power minus 4, wherein clearly we know that it's not 10 power minus 4, it has to be 10 power minus 3. One thing, so don't worry why I have taken it. I purposely taken it. I think Anil Kumar, if he is here, I have purposely taken this scanner to show him how they are writing.
Yes, sir.
How Anil Kumar, see how many mistakes are there. Now, if you go same thing, you take into the scanner and take and verbatim and write this. Are you, if the paper is coming to me, will I give you the marks? I will not give. I'll say from where it is coming. So, so that thing you have to consider. Simply mugging the scanner will not help. So this is wrong. this height of the field winding, actually it has to be, height of the field winding should come from your length into breadth dimensions, not from here. Rest resistance of the field winding is okay. Height of the field winding in the earlier sections also we have dealt with it. From there you verify. You have to work hard, because see, the problem I'm seeing here, that you are completely dependent upon a teacher. Teacher over here is to just guide you, to push you, and then you should get the doubts. You should ask the, like other day, Fakresh, one doubt he asked, sir, frequency how 50 60 hertz. Similarly here, sir, how this is coming, how that is coming. So we are here for that, not to just see every now and then I'm seeing you, everything we have repeated. So time and again I'm repeating, time and again I'm repeating. And now suppose an intellectual is sitting there and he decides to like frame a question paper, and he frames, and now you have not studied it accordingly, you have not understood it, so you will fail definitely. So copper loss in the field winding is what? Copper loss is I square times your field current, that is IF square times, F should be down here, IF field current into RF. So this is, see, this is how your scanner works. This is another question from the scanner only I have taken. So another question, it writes, discuss the factors to be considered while selecting suitable number of armature slots in asynchronous machine. See here, there's a mistake. Ion. It's not ion in asynchronous machine. Now, see, as a teacher, I can understand the answer, what is right and what is wrong. But as a student, you will not be able to understand. Now, if you want this scanner, I have it with me. I can give it to you, no problem. But if you read this, I cannot guarantee whether you will pass or not.
Definitely pass, sir.
Huh? Definitely pass, huh?
Sir,
How you are sure you will definitely pass? So many
sir,
mistakes.
Sir, for
my
reference, you said, sir.
sir, my friend, I'm not actually not preparing, but my friend always preparing scanner. He always pass and go. So
So no, no. Where see, I will tell you one thing, Fakresh. When did I say not to use scanner? I used myself to show you, but scanner you have to see what type of questions are coming. And in scanner, I will not say you 100% answer they are writing wrong. They are writing 70 to 60% correct only, but 10 20% here and there calculation mistakes, this mistake, that mistake, because it's not taken written by some professor. I think somebody student only making and writing like that. So they don't have that vision, okay, what a teacher can have. Now I think next year I will make one scanner in market, I'll put properly so that nobody will fail, okay.
do,
So
sir.
that we will do. So
Sir,
that
share this, sir.
huh? Yeah, this
Share,
I will
share
share
scanner,
the
sir.
scanner. I will share, no problem. I will share the scanner wherever the mistakes are there in the scanner. I will write that mistake and I will give it to you, no problem. So I
Thank you,
know,
sir.
I understand. I understand, student. I am from VTO background only. This everybody use this, so there is no hiding, no shame in that. But one thing is that, see, knowledge is at some other level, and this scanning and all is good. See, the main goal is that passing, okay. First is that we have to score 35, then raise our bat. In when you used to play, 35 used to hit, so we used to raise bat as if we have scored 100 runs. Same thing here. So we have same video has not changed. So you have to score that initial 35. Then we have to capitalize on the marks and everything. So like that, I'm trying to prepare you. So I'm taking you examination problems only. All the I have some 10 years papers from 2012 to 2020. I took, okay. Then I am feeling that it is very difficult in a design paper to like frame very new things, because it becomes really difficult. But in the numerical they can do it, but in the theory they have limitation. So the theory part we can do. So let's go for this. Discuss the factors to be considered while selecting suitable number of armature slots in a synchronous machine. So the following factors should be considered for the selection of the armature slots. Number one is your balance winding. So what do you mean by a balance winding? So balance winding is essentially should be such that You know,
Equal.
there, yeah, yeah, tell me. Hmm?
Equal winding, sir.
Balance winding should be equal, you are telling. See, balance winding does not exactly mean equal, but it should be in such a manner that there is no harmonics produced, there is no excessive currents, leakage currents, circulating currents that are to flow, and that may damage the other generators that are running in parallel. So how do we do is that the number of armature slots must be such a number that a balanced winding is obtained. Means what? Use of basically your armature slots should not be and see, if you have an odd multiple, okay, suppose usually when we calculate you get an fraction 23.7, 26.7. Usually we try to avoid odd multiples. The other day I was doing a problem wherein Fakresh stopped me and told me, sir, it is already coming 22.8, but you have taken 24, not 23. The reason is that 24 we can divide, okay, and make it a balanced winding. 24 in equal sections, 12 12 we can divide, but 22.8 we cannot divide in equal sections, we cannot get an equal winding. So at times to meet the design, even though the cross sectional slot area, slot length will get less, but we will consider the nearest number such that we will get a balanced winding. Now you got my point why I have taken 22.8, 24, not 22.8 or 23. Did you get, Fakresh? This is
Yes, sir.
this is important. So the it reads the number of armature slots must be such a number that a balanced winding is obtained. So use of balanced winding may lead to, basically, if we are not using balanced winding, we are using unbalanced winding. So what happens is that, so it used to overheat the rotor surface due to space harmonics. Now again, harmonics, I've told you primarily also, fundamental you have frequency called 50 hertz, then comes triple harmonics 150 hertz, then comes your fifth harmonic, that would be 250 hertz. So usually what happens is, in a machine, your even harmonics get cancelled with each other, but the odd harmonics are staying. So among the odd harmonics, the predominant odd harmonic is the triple harmonics. That is the third order. So that we have to take care. So to check that odd harmonics, so we are champering also in some machines, windings also. So that in the other machines, some cogging and crawling in induction motor will not take place. But in case of a synchronous machine, that phenomena of cogging and crawling does not happen, because there is no concept of slip, no concept of because the rotor is separately excited with DC exciter till that it locks with the AC prime mover. So here, but there is a problem with the space harmonics, the triplean harmonics. The leakage current is flowing in the neutral, and this leakage current, circulates in a machine. So basically, if you see an alternator or a power system, we are not connecting one alternator. There are many alternators or generators that are connected in parallel. So what happens is that if one of the alternator leakage current transfers to the other alternator that is running in parallel, so it may cause a problem. So that's why what we are considering is, although we will require more copper area and cost will increase, still we will consider the balance winding, because we don't want the circulating currents to flow in parallel and then cause damage in the rest of the power system. Oh, and one important factor is the balance winding when we are considering the armature slots. The second important factor is the cost. See, if you are designing anything, cost is very important. If you are, for example, if I make a transformer for 100 rupees, Pakresh makes for 50 rupees, same brand, same thing, same wires I'm using, with whom you will purchase? You will go, definitely you will purchase Pakresh, not mine, because you want to save that 50 rupees. In that you can go have some ice cream. Okay. So cost is another factor. So a smaller number of slots leads to a slight saving because there are fewer coils to wind. So, and one more thing is, if there are lesser number of slots, there are lesser windings, and one more thing is lesser number of insulation will be also there. So Another factor is that hot spot temperature. What do we mean by hot spot? See, what happens is there, if you have a smaller number of slots resulting in bunching of conductors, so conductors will bunch one over each conductor, so there would be small space left for air circulation through them. So this gives to rise of internal temperature, and in some places there would be these hot spot temperatures. For example, if I'm running my hand, so there is heat would be produced, but at one place some excessive heat would be produced because of the constant this thing. So the air gap is not there, so we have to keep into mind these hotspot temperatures also. Now leakage reactance, when the number of slots is small, leakage reactance is increased owing to conductor. See, leakage reactance will increase definitely if we have slots are small, because what, the distance of the conductors lying near to each other will decrease, so hence your leakage reactance will increase. So one more factor that is governing the number of armature slots. See, basically what we want to reduce the cost. First thing, we want a balance winding. Okay, so first thing is balance winding, then reduce the cost. Now to reduce the cost, we want lesser number of slots, but with lesser number of slots these problems are there. Hot spot temperature would be there, leakage reactance would be there, tooth ripples would be there, flux density in the. Now you will tell, sir, why if these many problems are there, why you are not going for higher number of slots? Why should I go for higher number of slots? My primary condition gets violated. What is my primary condition? My cost gets violated. So when I have to pay more for less, so why not pay less for less only and get the same result? So that is the thing. In any design problem, what is the output you are getting with cost is very vital. So this is because of the cost we are encountering these problems. We have to accommodate for these. Okay. So one more problem, there is tooth ripples. So what is this tooth ripples? The tooth ripples form in the field, and the, see what happens is that uh, ripples. What do you mean by ripples, Fakresh? Yes, you tell me what is ripple. Veeramani, Thara, anyone can tell me. Anybody from the class can tell me what do you mean by a ripple? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Not for
can you tell
ripples,
me?
sir. Same for
No,
ripples.
no, what is no, no, that is repulsion. That is not ripple. A ripple and repulsion is, see, ripple, that repulsion and attraction is different. What do you mean by ripple? Anybody other than Shivram? Some Rahul Tiwari, are you there? Rahul Tiwari, what do you mean by Bindushri? No, but let me see how many people are there first. So what do you mean by ripple? Anybody can tell? So 23 people I'm seeing. So Ripple, Thara, you are there. Fakresh, you are there. So yeah, tell me. Anyone can tell what do you mean by Anupam S Kumar? You are never there. I know that. You simply log in and you just watch a movie.
Sir,
Anupam S Kumar. No, no, I'm asking Anupam S Kumar. Can you hear me? Anupam S Kumar, come back from the movie. Come back from Star Wars. Not there. I'm going to mark him absent. I know that. He's always not there. Mushtaq, are you there? No, he's also not there. Rajat?
Sir,
Mushtaq is
I'm
there.
there,
Rajat?
sir. Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sagar? Sagar?
I am here, sir.
Sagar is there? Rajat, I know. Sagar is not there. Santosh?
Sir, ripple means in distraction in the waves.
Ripple means what?
Sir, variation in the DC voltage.
Real
Sir,
time, sir.
distractions.
Somebody told variation. So who told variation in something? Yeah, Ripple
Ripple
Ajit
means.
means
sir,
real time.
variation
Variations,
DC voltage.
disturbance in the voltage of the current.
Okay. Sushmita?
Sir, I am Santosh.
No, no, no. Sushmita, I'm asking. What do you mean by
Yes,
ripple?
Sandan.
You tell me what do you mean by ripple? Okay. So what do you mean by ripple? Ripple means what somebody told correctly. The amount of DC present in the AC means ripple. Okay. So the presence of DC quantity inside the AC means ripple. Harmonics means deviation from the fundamental frequency. It means harmonics. So the current will increase in the harmonics. But ripple means what? Presence of DC. For example, percentage ripple will mean percentage DC present in AC. So what happens is that if the DC quantity is present in AC, so it will cause some pulsations. Pulsation means there will not be a smooth torque because of this ripple. See, your AC is going sinusoidal like this. Okay, your DC is a straight thing. So you don't get a sine wave. So you get a sine wave transposed on it is a straight line. So you get some peak. What that is called, your wave is sort of trapezoidal, sort of cut at the this top, something like, yeah, wait, I'll show you
Clip off,
something.
sir.
Something like this. See, this is something like your earlier. This is your sine wave and the DC wave. So this would be the ripple content. Okay,
Clip
and
off, sir.
okay, clip off. Okay, so the tooth ripples in the field form the consequent pulsation losses in pole faces decreases if a large number of slots are used. Okay, so what happens is there in the field form the consequent there is some losses in the pulsations in pole face. So that if we use a large number of, then flux density, and flux density is phi by a. Okay, your flux is directly proportional to your current, and your is inversely proportional to your area. That is your flux density, BAV. In transformer, same thing. In induction machine, same thing. In synchronous machine, same thing. With a larger number of slots, a greater space is taken up by the insulation. So if by insulation is given a greater space, so what it does is that a narrower teeth giving flux density is arrived. So what happens is, which may be beyond the acceptable limits. So also the teeth becomes mechanically weak and may have to be supported at the ducts. Teeth, because they have the teeth shaped, which I've shown you also previously. So the value of the slot pitch, that how many slots per pole, slot pitch means divide by pole, serves as a guide when choosing the number of armature slots. So this YSS in induction machine also we saw this. Following are the usual values of slot pitch. See this, in this machine, induction machine, it was different. Okay, here it is different. If ys same thing, less than equal to 25, there it was starting from 15 ending to 25. Here you see 25 for low voltage machines, 40 mm for 6 kV or low voltage machines, this 60 mm for machines up to 15 kV. So this is the range that can be asked for 2 marks also. So this was about the alternator and the things associated with it. Most of the things we had studied in induction motor. So certain things like output equation and these current density, specific electric loading, magnetic loading, these are common in the AC, and it did get repeated, so that we need not to study. And then other things we have seen. So let's see how problems are coming. This is a 10 marks problem in 2020 or 19. Recently, one paper has happened in that one 10 marks problem has come. So most of the times, all of my problems out of that 50 to 60% I'm taking from VTU exams. Some questions I'm taking from some Pearson, some other books like foreign authors. I cannot expect you're not doing research on machine design. That's why I'm creating notes and giving. So you can see this question. Let's read this question. For 10 marks it is coming. So Anil Kumar AV's heart is pumping very high, and I can feel that because he's thinking I'm diploma student. Problem has come, so I have to leave this. Otherwise, I'll get bold. Huh? Like that feeling is there. Huh?
No.
No. Whoosh. Huh? Fakresh, what is the feeling? Hara, your feeling? After, huh?
Sir?
How you are feeling after looking at the problem?
Good, sir.
Kind
Good.
of.
Sushmita, how you are feeling?
Can manage, sir.
We can be managed. Suchitra? Suchitra is not there. Unnati? Vinuta? Now I'm remembering your names also, now because so many times I have to fill. Who else? Rajat, how you are feeling? So start doing. Let me see. A
Better, sir.
500 kVA. So Q is equal to 500 kVA, that we know. 3.3 kV. The moment we see 3.3 kV, we need to see whether it's star or delta, what it has mentioned. If nothing is mentioned, we'll assume it as star and divide by root 3. Usually, because all the machines are connected in star. If delta is mentioned, then we have to take this only. Okay, that is the standard procedure. A 500 kVA, now we know the value of S or Q is 500 kVA. So 500 kVA would be equal to root 3 V line into I line cos. Okay, that is one formula. So that is mind we have to come. Whenever we are looking at the questions, formula should come in our mind. What formulas are there? Okay, one more formula is there. E is equal to that, this 3.3 kV. E is equal to 4.44 F phi T phase kW in case of synchronous machine, because kW, that factor we have to consider. Here he has given. If it is not given, you have to assume this 0.955. Okay. Now 600 RPM is telling, but RPS is what? That you have to see. Three-phase silent pole alternator has 180 turns. T-phase also given. So Z phase you can calculate 6 into 180. Estimate the length of the air gap. Now he's telling length of the air gap he needs. If the average flux density, this is flux density, BAV, this is not flux. This is flux divided by area. And pole arc by pole pitch. This is what? Pole arc by pole, L by Z ratio is 0.66. Short circuit ratio. Now see here, yesterday we have seen SCR, and I have given you one formula for SCR in terms of ampere turns. So that formula is very important. Short circuit ratio is 1.2. Okay. Gap contraction factor, that also I have discussed, 1.15. So the MMF required for the gap is 82% of the no load MMF kVA is equal to 0.955. So what he's wanting is the length of the air gap. This is the quantity he wants. So length of the air gap. Okay, so what can we get? So first of all, we will get synchronous speed. I told you NS in terms of RPS 60 by this thing 10 RPS. Now the number of poles, F is equal to 120, F is equal to, or NS is equal to 120 F by P. Okay, that formula only. Or number of poles, if we want, P is equal to 120 F by N. So 120 into 50 divided by 600. So number of poles, 10 poles we got. Now current per phase would be kVA into 10 power 3 root 3 into EL. Okay, so root 3 into EL, but here he has taken unity power factor, because they have not mentioned about power factor. Basically the formula is kVA is equal to root 3 EL into IL into 10 power 3 into cos phi. So here no power factor is mentioned, so he has assumed unity. So this current comes around 87.4 ampere. Now armature MMF per pole. So armature MMF per pole, this formula 2-3 days back, this ampere turns we saw. This you have to remember. Here this formula you should know. That is 2.7. This we derived. Viramani, you remember? Huh? Thara? We derived this.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
We have derived this. So you have to remember armature MMF per pole is 2.7 into I phase, T phase, kWsp. Very simple. And in that resistance also in induction motor, there is some formula like this also. You have to, those formulas, what I will do is that I'll make 2-3 pages of the formulas that are constantly appearing, which formulas you have to remember, so that you can remember just before the examination. Otherwise you need not to derive time and again. So this formula you can straight away apply, and you get ampere turns. So you are getting how many ampere turns? 4056. Yesterday's class in short circuit ratio, I told you no load field MMF per pole is equal to MMF turns into short circuit ratio. So MMF turns into short circuit ratio, that is no load MMF per pole. So no load MMF per pole is what MMF turns into short circuit ratio. So MMF turns is 4056, that he is given. Short circuit ratio here is given 1.2. So we got the no load MMF per pole, that is 48068. Now field form factor, pole arc by pole pitch, pole arc by pole pitch given 0.66. So this is your KF value. And now one important factor is that maximum flux density in the air gap. So maximum flux density in the gap would be your average flux density divided by your field form factor. This is pole arc by pole pitch, just like the stacking factor in the transformer used to be there. So your net iron area used to be gross divided by your stacking factor. Similarly here it is just acting like this stacking factor, that is this pole arc by pole pitch is also called as field form factor. So you will get the actual flux density is 0.87 Weber per meter square. Now one important thing is that MMF for air gap, this formula we have seen is around 79,000. Yesterday in that book it was written. You can take 79,000 or you can take 80,000, no problem. Okay, but accordingly you should get the answer. Okay, it is not necessary in a design problem all of you should get the same answer. It depends upon what design parameter you have taken. Now for example here he has taken 80,000. This is your BG is this 0.87 kg and your LG. Wait, kg and LG. So MMF for air gap is 82% of the no load field MMF. So this 82% of the no load field MMF you have calculated. No load field MMF is this 4868. Okay, this is 82%. He has mentioned 82. Yeah, he has mentioned. See, usually what we saw, it should be between 80 to 85. Didn't we see 80 to 85? He has mentioned here. This is 82%. So this 82% of no load MMF should be equal to the given MMF. So this is 0.82 into 4868. What we require this term. So kg value also we have kg value. Okay, so BG value also we have. We will substitute C in this, so we'll get the LG value. So basically we wanted this LG value. So 0.82 into 4868 divided by 80,000. BG value 0.87. kg value is also there. Kg value is 1.15. kg value is mentioned in the problem. See here, gap contraction factor 1.15. Okay, this is the kg value. In induction machine also we have studied similar thing. In a synchronous machine also we have seen the same thing. So this is your gap contraction factor. So this MMF for air gap is equal to this. So and from here you will get your this length of the air gap. Substitute these values. BG value 0.87. So length of the air gap you are getting 5 mm. Again we will do the problem if you are having doubt. So again we will look at the problem. 10 marks are in hand within 5 minutes. Only thing is that some important formulas you remember. Okay, because there is no calculus. There is no like DSP, differential calculus, integral calculus, or like your field theory. It is simple algebraic equation. No differential equation also.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
sir, can you send the formula list, sir?
Formula list I can send, no problem. Already what I have taught you in the class, there all the formulas I have taught. But in the problem you require a reference. Okay, that formula list I'll make and I'll send you by Monday. So in induction machine, what formula you require for what problem? In synchronous machine, how you will go for the problem? How to approach a problem is most important thing. Here, this is what 10 marks. So many things are there. Only thing he needs the length of the air gap. That is LG. So first thing to come in my mind is that, okay, from where this I'll get LG. So, and then here it is telling 82% of the no load MMF. So first I have to calculate 82% of the no load MMF is equal to your 80,000 BG, kg and LG. That equation should come to my mind. Once that equation came to my mind, 82% of no load MMF. So, okay, what is no load MMF relationship with short circuit ratio? Okay, no load MMF is equal to short circuit ratio into the ampere turns. See here. So no load MMF is equal to this. No load MMF is equal to ampere turns into short circuit ratio. So short circuit ratio is 1.2. Okay. We understood. Or how much is the ampere turns? Oh, ampere turns is this 4056. How to calculate the ampere turns? So ampere turns is armature mmf per pole. That is 2.7 I phase, T phase, kWs, P. Okay, what is I phase? I phase I have to calculate from here. Okay. Basically I have to calculate I phase from here, and here a power factor is assumed 1. Okay, so whenever there is no power factor, assume it as 1. Okay, whenever there is not mentioned it's delta, assume it's star, divide by root 3. Okay, if it is delta, no need to divide this term by root 3. If it is mentioned categorically, it is delta connected, so your V phase would be equal to your C. If it is not mentioned, so you have to see. Again, one important factor here is that again I will tell you one important factor is here that see basically if you see whether it is mentioned or whether it is not mentioned, look, your phase power P phase would be equal to 3 times P phase I phase. Okay, 3 times V phase I phase, whether it is connect. Now the same expression in line, whether it is connected in delta or whether it is connected in star, would read root 3 V line I line cos phi. Why it will read? See, earlier expression was 1 second. You can you hold? I'll just show you in this. Just for 2 seconds you hold. Just 2 seconds.
Sir,
Just wait a second.
Yes. I'll show you in the this thing. So it will be very convenient. See, basically what happens is, are you able to see my board? See, this P is 3 times V phase I phase cos phi. Okay, this in terms of phase. Now in terms of line, if I want to write, how can I write? My P line would be equal to root 3 V line I line cos phi. See, can you see, Viramani?
Yes, sir.
You can see the board, right? Now I will explain you one important factor. See, if it was like connected in delta, so in delta your V phase, your I phase, in delta your I line is equal to I phase by root 3, and this is delta, and V line, this is a line, this is I phase is equal to I line by root 3, and V phase is equal to V line by root 3 star. Now see, in your delta, what happens is that the earlier power, your P power is 3 V phase I phase cos phi. Now if you are trying to express it in line, now you started to express it in line, so you wrote 3 V line I line cos phi. But now consider the case of delta. When you are writing delta, so your V line would be equal to V phase, no problem. But your I line would not be equal to I phase. I line would be equal to how much? I line would be equal to I phase by root 3. I line would be equal to this is I line would be equal to I phase by root 3, and V line would be equal to V phase by root 3. So your I line would be equal to your I phase by root 3. So you have to express now that I line in terms of I phase. So you have to write 3 V phase is equal to V line, but I line is how much? I line is your I phase by root 3. So, or your I phase is equal to I line by root 3. So once you are writing your I line by root 3, so this 3 and root 3 gets cancelled. So you get root 3 V line I line cos phi. Similarly, now in case of in case of star, instead of 3, V phase will not be same to V line. So V phase, if you have to write in terms of V line, you have to divide by root 3. So it would be V line divided by root 3. I line would be equal to I phase. So I line would be written as it is, but V phase would be written as V line by root 3. So this 3 and root 3 will get vanished. So you get root 3 V line I line cos phi. So when you are writing the power in terms of line quantities, it would be root 3. Okay. When you are writing the power in terms of phase quantities, that time it would be 3. It would not be root 3. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
This is very important point. So either you are doing in delta or in star, because one quantity is going to get divided by root 3. So that quantity divides 3. So 3 is essentially root 3 into root 3 is 3. So down 1 root 3 will come. So this cancels the upper root 3. So you get the root 3 value. So here also same thing. You can see here now is trying to express this phase in terms of line. So because what we want is that we want the line quantity. So again, you are getting this current. Okay. So this current is that root 3 ratio is there. That's why that root 3 is there. Okay. So you should have told, sir, why not 3? Why root 3? Because here you see this is your E line. Okay. And I phase is okay. So I phase is because if it is star connected or delta connected, that is immaterial. This root 3 will come, because if you are expressing it in terms of your line quantities, root 3 will come. If you are expressing only in phase quantities, then no. So usually current per phase would be 87.4 ampere. Okay. So that thing you have to take into account. Now, once you got the current, this current you have to substitute in this formula. So this armature MMF per pole, that is ampere turns. MMF is what? I into N is MMF. In the very beginning, in the transformer class, when I started, so I have started your MMF. I have explained you the MMF. If you are still not getting some videos, also I made deliberately in the classroom, some 10 minutes, 15 minutes video, and I have put on my YouTube channel. You can have a look at that if you are not getting some concepts, because I have not made 1 hour, 2 hour. I know that even we people cannot watch videos more than 10 minutes length. So it is a human tendency. So that some essential concepts you can go and apply in the major. Basically, studies is what? Studies is like differentiating longer things into smaller quantities. Like a huge chunk we differentiate into smaller quantities and then absorb. Whereas your examination is integrating everything at one place. So if you are good in differentiation, then only you will be able to integrate. Okay. So here you see ampere turns 2.7 into I phase, T phase, kWs. Here you will substitute I phase value calculated, T phase is given, kWs is given, poles value calculated. So you got this ampere turns. Now the no load ampere turns depends upon these ampere turns into your SCR value. So no load field MMF per pole is your ampere turns into your SCR value. So you have no load ampere turns is 4056 into your SCR value 1.2. Substitute here, so you get this value. Now again, this field form factor is 0.66. So this field form factor gets applied to your average flux density, so that you get BGA value, maximum flux density. So maximum flux density would be average flux density divided by this value. So you get. Now MMF for air gap is this formula you have to remember, 80,000 BG kg Ig. Only this MMF for air gap, this and this 8 into SCR, and this 3 formulas, if you know, deal is done. So you'll write BG value, kg value is given, LG you need to calculate. So you calculate the value of LG, 0.82 into 4868. So any doubt anywhere, see, because any doubt should come. Mostly, see, I am only thinking what doubt can come. So I am only explaining. Like for example, I thought here maybe you may ask, sir, why this root 3 is there? Why not 3 is there? So I tried to explain in terms of line they are expressing. Then this is see here one thing he has done, this synchronous speed 10 rps. No need na, anywhere we required this. It's a scanner, they solve like this only. Do we require this ns is equal to 10 rps? Nowhere was its use, so no need. Here we required poles. Why poles are required? Because we have to substitute here number of poles, then only we'll get this ATA value. But this ns value, anywhere it was required, nowhere it was required. So on a similar basis, if you are going to see the problems, so you will be able to do any problem. So one more problem we'll take up, and let's see, you write it down. Okay, this is design of turbo. Okay, yeah. So essentially the design of turbo generator. Now this is not scanner, this is a good what do you say, book from Pearson. It's a foreign book. I cannot recommend every book to you, right? It's not possible. Na? So whatever good portions are there, I am giving you this. These earlier two things I took from scanner. You see so many mistakes are there in scanner. So that's why you have to study properly. So now design of turbo generators, tomorrow's class we'll take this, because today's class I want you people to write down this numerical. Thara, you read this numerical for me. Can you read?
Yes, sir.
Read, please read. I want you to read loudly.
Yes, sir. Design of 10 MVA, 11 kV, 3000 RPM, 50 hertz.
Okay.
The design is as follows: diameter gap is equal to 0.75 meter, gross length 0.45 meter, stator turns per phase 18, number of slots 36, the excite voltage is 200 volt. So find the number of rotor slots, area of field conductor, turns of field coil, and field current. Assume number of rotor slots has 16.
Okay, you read the problem. So you came to know there are what he's asking and what we have. So by just looking at the problem, let's see, design the rotor. So he wants to design a rotor basically. Okay, and he's telling this 10 MVA, that is your Q value is 10 MVA. So you can say power factor, we will take 1. So you can say 10 MVA is equal to root 3. This value 11 kV divided by.
Sir, why power factor 1, sir?
If it is,
They have not mentioned.
no, they have not mentioned, so you will take unity power factor. Okay. If they have mentioned power factor 0.8, 0.9, so we will take, but they have not mentioned. Okay. And one more thing is that this is basically one mistake I did. This is basically S value. S value is complex power. So your complex power is your basically voltage into current. Okay. And in 3-phase, your complex power would be root 3 times your V line into I line. Got it? So there is no need of power factor, because power factor anyways in the complex power, it would be complex power is what? Your P is in the perpendicular axis. Sorry, your P is in the base, Q is in the this thing, your perpendicular, and S is like this. It is. Okay. Q and S. So S is VI conjugate. So this value, this is the value of S. You can see this. Can you see?
Sir.
So this is your complex power, which the complex power will be essentially, your complex power would be given as, your S would be always given as, root 3 VI. So no need of power factor will not arise only in that. Okay, because this is not P. Earlier, that is your P is root 3 VI cos phi. In that problem also, if you can see there, that was not P. If that problem you will see, because yes, while talking, see here, This is 500 kVA, not kW. Okay, can you see? This is kVA. kV means voltage into current. This is VA. Okay, got it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So that was one mistake. That was power factor. That is complex power. So here also you see 10 MVA. So what we can do is S is equal to root 3 V line into I line. Okay, and your number of poles is given. No, number of poles is not given. So 50 hertz, 120 F by P. So 120 into 50, and your RPM is 3000. So 120 into 50, how much you'll get? 6000. 6000 divided by 3000. So you'll get 2. Because see, now you can see this is a turbo alternator. Okay, turbo alternator is a high speed alternator. Oh, and in a turbo alternator, number of poles would be always 2. Okay, that is also there. If you don't need to calculate, but you have to calculate. Now diameter at the air gap is mentioning 0.75. Okay, gross length is 2.45. Stator turns per phase is this. The exciter voltage is this. Find the number of, now area of field conductor, turns of field coil, and field current. So let's go about this problem. See, first of all, whatever data they have mentioned is mentioned. Okay, now in turbo alternator, basically 60 to 70% of the rotor is slotted and rest of the rotor is left unslotted. So if the rotor slots are not provided, what we have to do? Basically what happens, the number of rotor slots is selling 16. So the number of rotor slots, basically we assume around 60 to 70% of the stator slots. So number of rotor slot pitches may vary from 20 to 26. Why? Because 60 to 70% of the stator is how much stator slots they have mentioned. This is stator slots to 36. So of this 36, 60 to 70% will come around 20 to 26. So this is one thing. Number of rotor slots is mentioning 16. So basically there are some assumptions here in this problem. So we assume around 35 volt that field excitation voltage, because in the beginning we excite it. So the voltage across the field coil, here you can see the exciter voltage. See, the maximum excitation is 200 volt, but the starting we have to excite such that your rotor starts to rotate with the field, DC field. Na? So in that case, one assumption here, that thing point, actually some flow charts are there for that. But as per the problem, if you see in the problem, they will make according to that flow chart. But the syllabus is somewhat different. But anyways, I will tell you all the formulas and all one place we'll put. So the voltage across the field coil we will assume as 200 minus 35 by 2. 35 by 2 means why we have divided by 2? Because always it is an even division. We have to consider for this thing. So 182.5, and now you got this value of this voltage across the field coil, because this voltage divided by your current will give you the resistance. See, here is asking for one thing, na? Field conductor turns of field coil, field current, rotor slots, area of field. Find the number of resistance is asking. No, he's not
No, sir.
asking. No, let's see. This is a scanner. He will do. No, this is from scanner. Yeah, this is no. This is not from scanner. This is from a good book. So why he is done? Let's see. Okay. So ampere turns per pole, again same formula, 2.7 I phase, D phase, kWp. So to calculate this ampere turns, first we'll calculate I phase. I phase will get by same, this 10 MVA divided by root 3 into 11. Okay, so you'll get I phase. So this is 10 in 10 power 6
Sir,
root 3.
time up, sir.
Bindu
Sir,
Shri,
it's already 2 o'clock, sir.
wait. Let me finish this. Let me finish. Five. Okay, then you will do this problem tomorrow, assignment.
Yes, sir.
So take down this problem. Take a snapshot. Take a snapshot of this problem, because it's not that easy.
Yes, sir. Done, sir.
Okay. Are you Bindushri? Huh? Who is this? So I have to take the attendance, right? Wait, let me take the attendance first. Bindushri. Bindu,
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
you are very much tired, huh? Okay, we'll wind up the class. Let me take the attendance. Today I'm seeing 42 people have come. What about your this thing assignment and other things? Sunday you are going to submit according,
Monday.
huh?
Tuesday. Yes, sir. We'll submit, sir. We'll submit as soon as possible, sir.
Okay. Then we'll stop here. So done. So
Thank
I'll
you, sir.
stop. Wait. First I'll stop recording. Then you speak whatever you want to speak.